Hi everyone, I'm Randy Arrington and welcome to the 83rd episode of Page Valley Living. We're here today in Ruffner Plaza in downtown Luray, where a week from Saturday these folks will be helping organize the third annual Recovery Walk. Well, all sorts of resources, information, and various groups that will come together that help people who are struggling with addiction and working their way through the recovery steps. We'll talk about some of the details of that event on September the 6th, right here at Ruffner Plaza. And then we'll have a little conversation about a bigger movement that's happening throughout our community. All of that and more right here on the 83rd episode of Page Valley Living. We'll be back in a moment after a word from our sponsor.
Whispering Pines Assisted Living is now accepting new admissions. Quality care at affordable rates, professionally trained staff, memory support, and short-term respite stays are all offered by Whispering Pines Assisted Living, powered by Valley Care Management, where home and heart meet. Call for a tour today on Leakesville Road in Luray or learn more at valleycaremanagement.com.
Hi everybody and welcome back here to Ruffner Plaza in downtown Luray. As we said, a week from this Saturday, right here at this very location, will be the third annual Recovery Walk, where they're going to have all sorts of resources for folks working their way through recovery. Let's see who we have here today. We have Andrea Goode with us. We have Taylor Alger and John Winslow. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, the first thing, before we get into the details of this event and all of the different things you're going to have here for folks, including some music and lots of other things, let's talk a little bit about the partners that are involved in putting this on. Now, I know that PACA, the Page Alliance for Community Action, is one of the main groups. Tell us a little bit about what they do.
So when it comes to addiction and recovery, PACA focuses more on prevention. So how can we educate our community, educate our youth, so we can prevent the cycle of addiction from continuing in our community.
Very well. And I know that 23 West is also a group. We're going to talk a little bit more about that group, but let's tell folks what it's a little bit about now.
Well, actually, 23 West, we are here at the Ruffner Plaza on Main Street, right by the bridge. On the other side of this bridge, facing 23 West, actually the club, which is right across the street from here, so that's where it gets its name, 23 West Main Street in Luray. And we offer 12-step recovery support meetings. Okay. We have approximately 60 meetings a month that are occurring here, around 500 participants that attend on a monthly basis. And we offer Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, Narcotics Anonymous meetings, Al-Anon, which is for family and friends, loved ones with an addictions problem. So we are here to support the recovery community in our particular piece of, as we are going to be talking about, there are a number of different segments and pieces that fit together to support recovery efforts throughout Page County.
Okay, very good. Another group involved is 23 West. Right?
No, we're actually Valleys Rise Above.
I'm sorry, that is one of the groups involved, but you want to talk about Valleys Rise Above. Tell us about that.
So Valleys Rise Above is a nonprofit in Stanley. It's at the Gene Goode's house, and it's at 270 West Main. And we focus on housing people who are in recovery. I'm in recovery myself. And we also have A Fresh Cleaning, who operates out of that location, and we hire people who are in recovery and people who live at the house, and just help people just to focus on recovery and to help them to just get on their feet and get going again.
And I know another group is Free Indeed. Can you tell us a little something about that?
Yeah, so Free Indeed. Yeah, so Free Indeed is on Tuesday nights at 6:30 on Newport Road in Shenandoah.
Okay.
And Pastor Dwayne Painter actually helps run that, and it's a great program. I mean, we come out and do a big meal Tuesday nights, and we focus on NA and AA and just recovery.
And I think you might have said there might have been, is there any other groups that you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so Celebrate Recovery, they meet at Main Street Baptist, that's Pastor Tim, and Celebrate Recovery is a nationwide program, so they focus on faith-based ministry and recovery. So they do 12-step principles and have people share their testimonies. So they meet every Monday at 6:30 at Main Street Baptist. And then Savita also has been a great partner in just sponsoring the event. So they've been wonderful, and they focus on case management, medicated assisted treatment, things like that. So.
And we want to let the folks out there know that in our second segment, we're going to be talking about a number of groups that have kind of come together and are all kind of getting a little bit on the same page in their efforts that they're doing to help these folks that are working their way through recovery after addiction. So make sure you stay tuned for that in our second segment. But right now, we want to focus on this event, folks. It's happening at 6 p.m. right here at Ruffner Plaza in downtown Luray on Saturday, September the 6th, 1 week from this Saturday. And the music kicks off at 5 p.m. And Taylor, you were telling me that this is the third annual event, so it's been held before, but this one's going to look a little different this year. How is that?
It is. So the past 2 years, first of all, we've had the first walk was at Page County High School. And then last year we did at PALS Performing Arts Center. Okay. And this year we'll be here at Ruffner Plaza, but we're actually going to have folks meet at the Mechanic Street lot of the Greenway. Okay. So we'll all kind of gather and rally there. And then Luray Police Department is going to assist us in walking down Main Street, or I guess up Main Street, to the courthouse.
Okay.
And when we get to the courthouse, we're going to have a big, rally, everybody come together, because for a lot of people struggling with addiction, the justice system and it kind of has that negative light, so we're trying to kind of break down that stigma as well. And then from there we'll walk down, and what we're going to do this year, we decided, is when we walk up we're going to be silent to honor those that are in active addiction or who have lost their lives to active addiction, and then we walk down, we're going to cheer and be all excited to celebrate those who are in recovery.
So let me just make sure that I understand this, that we've got this right, and that the folks out there are following us a little bit in TV land there. Yeah. That we're going to start at the not the park and ride, but at Mechanic Street parking lot, and we're going to walk up Main Street to the courthouse, and then from the courthouse back here to Ruffner Plaza.
Yes, and this is where the actual event will be.
And so this walk, as well as the event, is open to the entire public. It's all the community is invited to participate in the walk, as well as our recovery rally event that's going to be here at Ruffner Plaza. We understand that everybody may not be interested or in a position to do the walk itself. They can just join us here. They may want to start at the courthouse and just walk from the courthouse down. The main event is going to be here, but the walk is a significant piece of this whole event that we're having.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely something for the whole community. I mean, this is a community effort, just showing that lives can change and a difference can make, but it's taken a community to come together, our community, to come together for this.
And we know that everybody has been in the community, has been impacted in one form or fashion or another by addiction, personally, through family members, through their work situation, or just the community at large. So everybody has a stake in this in supporting recovery efforts.
Well, I'm going to start at this end and have y'all kind of come around this way. Talk a little bit about, in a little bit more detail, of the types of things, the resources. You talked about you're going to have some resources here, different groups represented. What types of things might people find here at Ruffner Plaza that they may be able to use or apply?
So when someone is in active addiction, you kind of feel lost. You feel alone. You feel like you don't have anyone. At this event, we're planning on having some tents set up and tables with prayer, with 23 West Main, like to where they can come there and offer classes. We're going to be able to have a setup to where if you want to go to rehab, that's going to be at the Valleys Rise Above table. We can set you up for rehab. We can help people with looking at their insurance situation and what we can, the avenues to get a person where they need to go to get out of the situation that they may be in, that they feel stuck. So that's going to be our focus at our tables, is to just kind of let them know that, you're not alone, and that's going to be the resource to get you up out of the place that you're at to to rehab.
They really
So-
are. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was going to say that tomorrow, August 31st, is International Overdose Awareness Day. And it's in recognition of all those lives lost through, in particular, opioid addiction, which has been huge. And we know that the numbers over the past, 10, 15 years have been significantly increasing, especially with the advent of fentanyl.
Yes.
Now, what we've seen in the last few years, for the first time, is a drop in those overdose deaths. And it's not that there's a lack of fentanyl that's out there and, that the community is exposed to. We believe that a significant piece of that is that Narcan, and many people are getting familiar with that term Narcan,
Yeah.
which is a drug that can reverse the overdose
Right.
through opioid process and revive somebody that has died or is dying from their overdose, bring them back to life and give them a shot at recovery. And
Right.
so that's another piece that we're going to have here is the availability, some training as needed, and the availability of Narcan to help save lives. And as part of that, the EMTs of Page County are going to have they're going to be one of our vendors at this site as well.
What was that date that you just threw out?
August 31st.
August
which is tomorrow,
31st.
International Overdose Awareness Day.
Okay, and so there really is. There's a lot of help out there if folks are just willing to reach out, right?
Absolutely.
And what other things might you add to the September 6th event, which would be a week after the day we were just talking about? What are the sort of things that are going to be at the here at Ruffner?
So, as Andrea and John said, we'll have tons of resources and information. We'll also have free food.
right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So that will be sponsored by Sabita. So they were wonderful. They helped us last year. They're going to help us again this year. And then we'll be showing some videos actually with Andrea and John and another
Okay.
community member that tells their testimony and their story
Okay.
and their journey of recovery. And then following that, and live music will be peppered in there, but then following that, we're going to have, so Valley Rise Above has a podcast. And so we're going to do a live podcast that will feature guest speakers that will be Bo Cook, the local chief of Luray Police Department,
Yeah.
Daniel Devers, who's kind of the head supervisor over probation.
Okay.
Right? Yes.
I'm guessing.
Something like that. Sorry, Daniel, that's wrong. And then Chapman Goode, who is in the running for Commonwealth Attorney. So they're going to be on the podcast that will be for the live audience, but then also streamed online for those to see at home.
I hate to put y'all on the spot, but do we know who the live music's going to be by?
Well, the Lee Blanton Band is going to be
Oh,
the primary
they're
players.
a
I
local
think
favorite.
yours truly may be performing the song.
Yay.
Outstanding,
We may have some
outstanding.
other guest
Yeah.
performers.
Well, that's outstanding. Well, folks, once again, that's going to kick off at 6 p.m. right here at Ruffner Plaza in downtown Luray on Saturday, September the 6th. Make sure you mark it on your calendars. When we come back, we're going to talk about the larger movement in our community and how a number of nonprofit groups have kind of come together and kind of got on the same page, making their overall efforts that much more effective. We'll talk about that and more when we come back right after another word from our sponsor.
Hawksbill Assisted Living in Luray is now accepting new admissions. Hawksbill Assisted Living, powered by Valley Care Management, offers quality care at affordable rates, professionally trained staff, and veterans aid and attendance. Come visit Hawksbill Assisted Living, located near the beautiful Hawksbill Greenway in Luray. Call for a tour today or learn more at valleycaremanagement.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, talking about the third annual Recovery Walk happening September 6th at Ruffner Plaza. And Taylor, this segment we want to talk a little bit about how things are coming together in the community. You had said to me that the event's going to celebrate recovery and the movement happening in our community. Can you elaborate what you mean by a movement in our community?
Absolutely. So when I returned back to Page County in 2021, I was like, there's nothing here for addiction. No one's really talking about it. There were a few resources, but it felt like we had a huge problem and not many solutions. And within those 3 or 4 years since I've been back, there are many, many different organizations that are maybe those that were established are growing, new organizations, new ministries, new meetings are starting. And I think what's really amazing is not only are these organizations coming, out, but they're also all coordinating and working together. So when you look at addiction and recovery, it's almost like a scale. So we have prevention, we have active addiction, we have recovery, we have sustained recovery, and I think we're meeting every step on that spectrum, if you will.
Well, the thing that I'm interested in, and I'm interested in how it came together, because not only in just this area, but you could talk about economic development, helping businesses. There are multiple organizations that do those types of things, and sometimes they're not always on the same page, or maybe they are filling different roles, but they're still not maybe that working together. What do you all think has created this situation where now folks in this sort of recovery group are getting on the same page, and now it's becoming more effective and more efficient? What has led to that?
Well, one of the factors is that 12-step groups historically have been, with the name, for instance, Alcoholics Anonymous, they have been anonymous for the survival of the organization.
Right.
Over the last few years, we have some new language that allows us to both maintain some of the traditionals that have been long-standing with these 12-step groups, but also to respect those traditions, but with this new language to be able to step out into the public. So we're starting to come out of the church basements now and get ourselves public. We know that it's a concept that it's hard to hate somebody up close. And so if we put a face and a voice on recovery, to be able to say, my name's John Winslow, I'm a person in long-term recovery. I couldn't say that if I was, to introduce myself as a member of a 12-step group. Right. So the changed language has helped to shift and open things up for our community.
Is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going into 5 years of recovery, and I know that when I started recovering out loud, it was instantly, it was about 5 years ago. I started posting of what I was going through and what I was doing with my life, and it just kind of like it gave me the fuel to keep going. The community kind of backed me when they seen what I was doing with my life and where I had been, and then where I'm going now. And it was just amazing. Like, it was amazing to get support when I went to Liberty University and started, my college courses, something I never thought I would ever do, and the community behind me made me have that love and that support, and I knew it. And now every day, like even a bad day when it comes, I know that my community is behind me, and that changes everything.
Yeah, and something we talked about a little bit during the break is that, and I don't know if there's more of this now, but it seems a very effective approach when folks working to get out of addiction, when they have someone they can relate to who's been through the same thing, they can tell their story, like you all talked about. You're going to have videos up during the September 6th event about that, rather than just a court saying you got to do this, or police officers saying don't do that. And I mean, how much does that play into recovery?
I mean, it plays everything. I mean, it's community is everything. And I mean, it just, this journey I've said it so many times, it was awful, but it was so beautiful too. Just getting to the steps and meeting all these wonderful people like Taylor. I mean, she's like got her hands in everything. But you have been like you've been the support to bring us all together over the years, and it's been great.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's talk a little about, we talked about some of the groups, but let's talk about some of the efforts. So for those out there, I'm going to use the old term just so they know what we're talking about, but what used to be called the drug court, which has been created, I think maybe about 2 years ago, maybe, that it got going in Page, maybe 3, but 2 or 3 years ago, now called Recovery Court. And they have qualifications to get into it, and then they've had a number of graduates. Do you know some of the graduates from that course?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what have you seen a difference in their lives after that?
I mean, I've seen lives transformed. I've seen. Addiction is a day-to-day thing, right? And it's a moment-by-moment thing. So I think knowing that you have that continuous support makes the difference. So I've seen, people that continue to struggle, but then I've seen people who are making changes in the community and becoming a part of things and becoming a part of this movement, not just as participants, but as leaders as well.
Right, absolutely. Now, you and Stanley run Recovery House, is that correct?
Yes.
What kind of changes are you seeing in folks there?
I mean, just the recent graduates that just went out, they were able to work with centralized housing intake to where they can get some of their rent paid up when they go to leave, but they have that savings saved up too, to where it's, got them a little bit of a cushion. And then they get their own place. They're still working the programs around here with, Free Indeed and Celebrate
Right.
Recovery. We're like a family now.
I want you to hit on one point, and then we're going to talk about the new place over at Brookside with the sale of Brookside. Maybe you can comment on that. But I want both of you to comment, or all three of you. Folks in the community, when one of these residences comes up, there's always opposition. I don't want it next to my house. What kind of people are going to be there? Is it going to be dangerous? And you hear that. But I find more and more that maybe that's a false narrative and a false perception, that people are kind of blowing up something. And yes, we none of us can sit here and say that there might not be an incident. We can't say that for sure. But the perception out there that they're all just crazy people that are dangerous to themselves and the community, that's not really true, is it?
No, it absolutely. I mean, I think our home is one of the safest homes that you can come to. We operate on a very strict routine, and routine is key when it comes to recovery. We're up at 4 a.m. every morning. We're out at work at 5 a.m. every morning. We're in bed and lights out by 8 p.m. at night.
Wow.
Like, it's very strict. We get, nights here and there, like the fair week where we were able to stay out a little later, but we were out and all tired. Like, we have our bodies and our minds trained. So when people put that on us like that, we're over here baking cookies. We're over here doing for the community and helping. So it's really hard to hear that.
Well, and also like the facility that's going to be at Brookside. Not only are these people trying to get better, and many of them really want to get better, but the people who run those places have stacks and stacks of regulations that they have to meet all the time with state agencies, maybe even federal agencies, because they're operating off of grant money and this kind of thing. And I'm not sure if people even realize that there's so many regulations that if something does go wrong, those individuals are going to be pulled out, right?
In my past life, I owned and operated a facility that was required to be licensed, and there were very strict rules and regulations that must be followed to the T. And
it's not just like 2 or 3 regulations. It's
it's a lot.
There was a lot. I know that the person that is bringing this program is himself in long-term recovery. They have a number of successful programs, on the Eastern Shore. And so, I was involved in some of the hearings, and there was the stigma that was out there, a lot of fear that was out there, but those concerns were adequately addressed. Guidelines are going to be in place, and there are going to be successes and there are going to be failures. There always are with any treatment program, as well as all recovery programs. But the important thing is that we are offering the beacon of hope. We're shifting the focus on the ravages of addiction over to that there is hope and help that is available to this community, and that's what we're doing with this program.
Right. Now, you have worked with so many groups, and that's just something we also talked about during the break. And I think maybe y'all are starting to do this collectively, and it's one of the reasons for the kind of growing success, but how do you break that stigma, that fear that the community has?
I mean, I think what John and Andrea said, it's really showing the faces. I mean, I believe that people who fall into active addiction, maybe not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time are the most sensitive, caring, big-hearted people that you've ever met. And I think that there's so much intensity in the world sometimes, it's a lot to handle, and unfortunately they turn to substances to cope. And so I think when we can show that these are individuals, and the thing is, a lot of times when people are struggling with active addiction, they want to get sober. They want to stop living in the way that they are, but the resources just haven't been there. They don't know where to turn. So I think instead of shoving our doors closed in their faces. Why don't we open the door to hope and show them what's available? And if they choose not to take it, maybe one day they will. But I think they're giving them that option, you know, because I'd rather, the fear is there, it is already in our backyards, but we have people who are actively using in our backyard. So why wouldn't we want to give an option for people to recover instead of actively?
That is a very good point.
When they do, they become part of the solution rather than part of the problem.
Exactly.
That's right.
Absolutely right. Now, I don't want to confuse our audience here, but I do want to let you know about another event that is coming up through Strength and Peers, based in Newmarket. They're joining and partnering with Savita Health to hold two events in Luray and Woodstock. The one in Luray is going to be on Tuesday, September the 2nd from 9 to 12 over at Savita Health, which is in the old bank building in East Luray Shopping Center. Again, that's Tuesday, September the 2nd, 9 to 12. And that is, I had the name of that here. Y'all remember the name of that one? Overdose Prevention Day. Thank you. I got too many notes here. Overdose Prevention Day. So remember that for Tuesday, September 2nd. But let's come back and talk about the big day here in Ruffner Plaza on Saturday, September 6th. The recovery walk, as we said, folks are going to meet at the Mechanic Street parking lot.
Yep.
They're going to walk up to the courthouse, and then they're going to walk back down here to Ruffner, where there's going to be food and there's going to be music. John's going to be singing for us here, and all sorts of resources that'll be going on. And the music starts at 5 p.m. The event is at 6 p.m. here at Ruffner Plaza. Once again, Saturday, September the 6th. Now, we had a lot more folks that we wanted to talk about. I will mention a couple of them real quickly. The reentry program.
Yes.
Can you tell us just a little bit about that real quick?
So it's through the Sheriff's Department. It's a grant-funded program, and they offer case management, counseling, medicated assisted treatment. We actually will go into the jails and initially begin working with people to give them resources so when they get out, they have the support in place. And we're actually also in the same building as 23 West Club.
Right. And if one of you wants to talk about Gloria Hamilton with Blue Ridge Family Connections.
Well, I mean, Gloria has a nonprofit in Stanley, and her focus is on children, but she does help with recovery as well. She shows up to Free Indeed on Tuesday nights for support. She helps the people who are in the jails and the prison as well.
And I know you work with the REC. They have Restoration Kingdom Housing. What's that about?
Absolutely. That has been a home for women and their children. We have 2 participants in there right now, and they are thriving. They are very active in the recovery community, and their lives have been transformed. It's been great to see. So
before I get your closing statements here, and I'm going to let you give each one of you an opportunity to give a pitch to the people out there, if they're struggling or if they're thinking about getting help, why September 6th would be a great day for them to have recovery. But first of all, Taylor, I want you to tell us a little story why this table is so special. And I'm going to read the inscription here. It says, "Rest in peace.
In perfect peace.
In perfect peace, Sean Wayne Perry." And from September 20th, 1992 to September 18th, 2020.
yeah, so Sean was a classmate and a friend of mine. We were pretty close in school, but you go your separate way. And unfortunately, right before, actually it was right after my mother had passed away and I came back to town, Sean had passed away from a drug overdose. And so when we sat down to do this interview, just making that connection, and it shows again that if we don't do things like this and we don't come together around recovery, unfortunately, it's death. It's institutions, So we really need to. This is why we do what we do. And
we didn't plan that. We just happened to sit right down here, talking about recovery and addiction, and there was that plate right there in memory of Sean Wayne Perry. Well, I would like for each of you to go around, and we'll start with Andrea. Just to give a pitch to the folks out there, maybe 30 to 60 seconds about why, if they're in trouble or if they know someone who is in trouble and struggling with addiction, why September 6th would be a great day for them to come here.
It would be a great day for you guys to come out for this event, because I know what stuck feels like. I know where you don't feel like you have no one to talk to or nowhere to go when you're in active addiction. But I also know what the other side feels like, and there is a beautiful other side with a loving, supporting community here, there's no better time than to take that step towards recovery. And you have the most support. And I'll be here on September 6th to talk with anyone.
All right. I'm going to let John go next.
We never know when a seed is going to be planted, and I know that for myself, I crashed and burned as a young man, and entering into recovery as a broken person with my life in shambles, moving into recovery through a rehabilitation program was the best singular thing that has ever happened in my life, and we want to make sure people are aware that help and hope is available for this community. Family members, loved ones with those that have addictions, mental health problems. We didn't mention much about mental health, but they go hand in hand with addiction. Help is available for folks, and so just come and be a part of. Join us.
Taylor, I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, and I think from the perspective of a family member who has lost someone to addiction and who spent many, many years trying to save them from an inevitable end, I mean, knowing that can feel stuck too. So knowing that you have a community behind you and there are resources there, and yes, recovery is hard work and it takes a lot of dedication and commitment to yourself, but it can be really fun too. And there's a whole light at the end of the tunnel, if you should say, where you can celebrate and have fun with community. So we just want to give a small sliver of a glimpse at that, of what that can look like. So come out, and we'll be here.
Well, I want to thank each and every one of you
Thank
today
you.
for sharing and getting this word out about this very important event. Once again, folks, it is 6 p.m. Saturday, September the 6th, right here at Ruffner Plaza in downtown Luray, the 3rd annual Recovery Walk. Make sure that you make your plans now and put it on the calendar. We're going to wrap things up now, and as always, if you liked our show today, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. We also want to thank Eleanor Arrington for all of her help behind the camera this week and in the editing room. As we always close out each and every episode, make sure that you stop by the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. For Andrea Goode, Taylor Alger, and John Winslow, I'm Randy Arrington saying until next week, enjoy that Page Valley living.